The sixth edition of the Giving Report is pointing to severe challenges in the charitable sector. A survey of nearly 3,000 Canadian charities for the donation platform Canada Helps found that 57% can't keep up with an increasing need for help. Nearly one-third are reporting a significant drop in revenue, and nearly 60% are concerned about staff burnout. The report, released last week, says 15% of charities polled had fewer staff since the start of the pandemic. Well, joining us now from Caldwell Securities Ltd is Mr. Brendan Caldwell, the director of Caldwell Securities. Welcome to Forum Daily.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Great to be here.
So I know last week you had commented on how many more families are going to your faith community for food. Now, this prompted us to take a look into charitable giving in Canada. And what are we finding? What has happened to charitable giving?
Well, it's been a challenge. COVID has put a real strain on the charitable sector, and both because of the financial resources required to run charities. I mean, they've been feeling the effects of inflation and everything else that households have been feeling, but also demand has skyrocketed. Our church, Church of Messiah, runs the Avenue Road Food Bank, which is non-denominational, not-for-profit. But we, before COVID, were looking after maybe 70 families a week, a couple hundred people maybe. We now look after 500 families a week. North of 1,000 people get food from our food bank every week. The lineup's right around the corner, so it's prompting some people to say, "Hey, I noticed your church runs a food bank. How can we help?" Either in terms of volunteers, but unless it's in your face, and a lineup of several hundred people is very much in the face of the neighborhood, the screaming need for increased volunteerism and charitable givings is. I think it's gone geometric, much like demand at our food bank.
And taking it from volunteering to actually giving itself. So what does charitable giving look like in Canada in 2023, coming out of the pandemic?
Well, it's had a few challenges. I think on the one hand, as I said, the expenses have gone up, but the charitable givings have not gone up in a commensurate way. And there has been challenges engaging the new generation. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And my good friend Craig Kielburger popularized that here in Canada. Be the change. And if for young people you want to see a difference, do find or start, but at least find a charity that's doing something that matters to you, and get engaged and get involved in some way, whether it's a little bit of money or a little bit of time, and let both grow as you grow as well.
So some intrinsic motivators, but what is the biggest motivator, the greatest motivator for giving in Canada?
It does tend to be theme-based. When there's a big disaster somewhere in the world, people do give for that. Quite a lot of the families getting food from our food bank, as for example, are Ukrainian, as well as a lot of Latin American. That's another story altogether, but a lot of Ukrainians. So people are seeing Ukraine as a place where giving should be directed. So some large percentage of international charitable donations coming from Canada are Ukraine focused, but this will happen as different causes make the news. When I was young, it was Ethiopia and Live Aid. So I think it's important to engage on those things. But there is a chronic need, like mental health. A young man came to my door just yesterday, and I started a monthly contribution plan. I think my wife says I might be doubling my monthly contribution plan, but at KMH, which is the Canadian Association for Mental Health, Addiction and Mental Health, because I mean there is a screaming need for mental health here in Canada, and a lot of people are struggling with it, both young people and coming through the pandemic. Whether it's taken a toll on one's physical health, it's certainly taken a toll on people's mental health. So I would say with the young people, find something you care about and start giving toward it.
So on that note, for viewers who might be struggling to make ends meet amid high inflation and these rising costs of living, but they still want to give back to their communities, how can you achieve a healthy balance?
Financially, do like one should do with one's own savings. Give monthly. If it's $10 a month, then it's $10 a month. Whatever you can slightly notice, do that. As a carpenter out of Nazareth said a few years ago, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And if you're giving a little bit of money, even if it's $10 a month, you'll then feel like, okay, well, I'm giving a bit of money toward this. I want to volunteer a bit. I'll give an hour a week or even an hour a month. And it's like exercising. You'll do a little bit, it builds up over time.